watching this right now, you're probably about to go through another spiritual awakening where your whole reality is going to shift. And on this video, I'm going to be sharing with you 7 things that are going to happen before your spiritual awakening. When you step into a timeline which is in alignment with your soul purpose and you're stepping in this spiritual path, you're going to experience many awakenings. Every time a shift happens in your perspective and you ascend to higher levels of consciousness, you're going to experience a big breakthrough. You're going to experience an awakening, which helps you to go deeper into your soul and exploring different aspects of yourself. The first thing that happens is that all of your subconscious beliefs mirrors back to you in your reality. It's like you're going to go through experiences which reflect back to you which parts of yourself you need to work on. And it's not easy because sometimes it shows us the parts of ourselves that we don't want to see, that we're scared to see, and we might be in denial of that parts of ourselves. But to shift to higher levels of consciousness, to shift to a reality that is more in alignment with your authentic self, you need to let go of all those subconscious beliefs. And you gotta be so aware in this period of time that what your reality is trying to tell you. And you gotta know that your external reality is only a mirror of your internal reality. So if you're experiencing something that you're not really satisfied with, it's probably because there are parts of you, there are some subconscious beliefs that are manifesting these experiences for you. And for you to shift to a new timeline, to become more empowered and in line with your soul purpose, you need to let go of those wrong subconscious beliefs that are holding you down. The next thing that you're going to experience is that you are going to be in situations that you have 2 choices, that you gotta make a decision, and you're being tested whether you're going to make the decisions based on the old version of yourself or the new version of yourself that you're going to become. For example, I used to have this pattern where I always ran away from sitting with uncomfortable emotions. Every time that I had to experience and process these emotions, I would do something to avoid them. And as I became aware of this pattern, I went through different challenges where I had to make a decision whether to sit with them or just go back to autopilot and act as I used to and just do whatever I always used to do and run away from them. But I had the choice to sit with those emotions, and trust me, every time that you're going to make a decision which is more in alignment with the new version of you, you're going to experience a massive breakthrough afterwards. So obviously the third thing that you're going to experience before your spiritual awakening is all those stuck emotions are going to come to the surface, because you gotta let go of all these stuck energies to be able to make your energetic field around your body more coherent and more clear. And throughout our life, we go through different experiences where it is really hard for us to process what happened. And what we do is that we suppress those emotions, and we might think that we've moved on and everything's all right, but those emotions are stuck in some parts of our body, are stuck in our chakras. And whenever you want to go through a big breakthrough, whenever you want to go through an awakening, all those emotions come to the surface so that you feel them and heal them, so that you let go of them and release them, because these stuck emotions are what closes your heart, and you need to open your heart to be able to ascend to higher levels of consciousness, to be able to receive receive this cosmic energy that flows into our bodies. So you gotta be aware of every time that these emotions are coming to the surface, just sit with them and be more compassionate with yourself and allow yourself to process them and learn what these emotions are teaching you. And believe me, afterwards you're going to feel so lighter. You're going to feel like your heart is shining. When we are going out of our comfort zone, when we are doing things that are uncomfortable for our inauthentic identity, we experience fear. Every time that we are going beyond our subconscious programming, we are going to experience fear. And you're gonna know that if you're experiencing this, this is a good sign. It doesn't mean that you're not in the right place or something's wrong with you or something's wrong with your life. It means that you're going beyond your identity. You're going beyond your old version of yourself. You're at the edge of a big breakthrough. You're actually breaking out of your box, and that box is your subconscious programming, and you're going to experience fear because your ego is now telling you that no, don't do that, don't go beyond your box, that's the unknown, that's uncomfortable. But magic only exists in the unknown. And whenever we are stepping into the unknown, our ego is trying its best to tell us to step back, go back to your miserable life. And what our ego does is making us feel fear so that we step back. If you act upon your fear, you're going to block yourself from experiencing this massive breakthrough and stepping into your highest timeline. You gotta feel the fear and do it anyway. The fifth thing that is going to happen is that everything that is not in alignment with your highest timeline is going to fall apart. Whether it's a relationship, whether it's a career, you're going to experience many endings. I've become aware that every time that I'm experiencing a big spiritual awakening, before that I normally experience many endings. And that's because everything that does not resonate with the frequency of the reality that you're shifting into will collapse and fall apart. And if you're experiencing these endings, you gotta be so grateful for that, because it's a sign that you're going to go through a new chapter of your life where everything's going to change for your highest good. The sixth thing is that the universe is testing you how much you trust in it. Because it's like you're in this divine storm where everything's changing, everything's falling apart, you're experiencing these massive fear. And it's in this moment where you need to fully trust the universe, because that's all you can do. You cannot really do anything about it but to trust and surrender to the process and trust that the universe, your life, and God is going to take you where you exactly need to be. I know it's not easy. I know it makes you overwhelmed and you might be in your head that what the hell is going on in my life, but the fact is that you're going to step into your highest timeline, and you gotta trust it. It's not an easy process. You're feeling all these doubts and fears, but this is the time for you to surrender, to fully trust that whatever you're experiencing is leading you to your fullest potential. And finally, you're going to go into the absolute unknown where everything's changing. You're experiencing all these new stuff that are not comfortable for you. You're not familiar with these kinds of situations, and that's a really good sign, because most of the time and most of the people are stuck in the same circumstances and the same experiences, and that's because their inner self, their inner being hasn't changed, and their perspective hasn't changed, and your subconscious mind is just constantly manifesting the same experiences, and that's comfortable. That's the comfort zone. That's the comfort place that most of the people are at. But when you're going through your spiritual awakening, when you're stepping into your highest timeline, you're going to experience all these big changes that are hard for your identity, for your old identity to process, because they're unknown, they're not familiar. But that's a big good sign if you're experiencing that. And every time that I was about to have a big breakthrough, I was in the complete unknown, because that's where the magic is, in the unknown, in the unfamiliar. For example, when I had one of my biggest spiritual awakening, I moved to another city where I didn't know anybody, where I'd never been in that city except like a couple of months ago, where I went for vacation. And then after a few months I moved to that city, and it was completely unknown for me. But I had the most profound spiritual and mystical experiences in that city, where it was completely unknown for me. Or 10 months ago, where I shifted into a completely different paradigm in my life. I moved to another country, and to another country where I've never been to. I just packed my things and moved to this country where I didn't know the culture, I didn't know anything about it, but it was really hard for my old identity to process everything that was going on. But that was when the paradigm of my reality really shifted. And if you're experiencing the unknown, if you're in the unknown, congratulations, you're going to experience a big breakthrough where your soul is going to be happier. You're going to be more in alignment with your soul's purpose, with your higher self's plan.